Hello. This presentation is about a study that analyzes questioning techniques for promoting language learning with students of limited L2 oral proficiency in a drama-oriented language classroom. The article is authored by Shin Mei Keo, Gary Karkin, and Liang Fong Xu. It was published online on November 18, 2011, and the presentation is by me, Noura Al-Masaid. The researchers analyzed questioning techniques used by teachers in a study conducted in Tainan University of Technology in Taiwan in 2007 through a 3-week intensive course. The study investigates how instructional goals were achieved in the intensive summer course with a group of Taiwanese college students. The course aimed to help students with beginning to low intermediate oral proficiency improve their overall English competence through various drama activities. So, why drama based activities to investigate questioning techniques? The authors mentioned that questioning techniques are frequently used by drama teachers in the classroom to create background knowledge of drama components, such as situations, details of the characters, and dramatic themes. In addition, in process drama, teachers ask questions in role and out of role to shape the story, unveil the details, and sequence the scenes. Moreover, the flexible and variant social roles and relations created in drama help project authentic linguistic contexts for the participants to communicate and negotiate. The researchers focused on 8 functions of questions as an analytical framework. These functions are inform, confirm, agree, commit, repeat, clarify, pseudo, and understanding check. The first 6 functions were proposed by Tsui in 1992, and the last 2 functions were added to the taxonomy by Wing in 2009. Because the taxonomy of Tsui was originally based on social conversation between speakers with equal status, and that means it would not be completely applicable for analyzing classroom interactions. The eight elicitations of questions proposed by Tsui and Wing are part of two main questions frequently used in the classrooms, and they are display questions and referential questions. Display questions are questions to which the answer is already known by the initiator. These questions are considered not functional and violates the maxim of quality according to Grice's principle of cooperation in conversation. Pseudo questions are considered display questions, and they seem to constitute a significant proportion of all those asked by teachers across different subject matters. They are usually used to examine students' comprehension or memory about the taught materials in the classroom, and normally elicit short, simple, and low level answers which are not only known by the teachers but also by many of the class members. In contrast to display questions, referential questions aim to elicit unknown information to the initiator, and it dominates the majority of questions asked in real situations. In the classroom, a referential question intends to draw answers referring to learners' opinions, judgments, and real life experiences, with the function of filling in the information gaps. In addition, the authors mention that the answers are usually longer than for display questions and carry content meanings. Teachers use referential questions more often when managing the class. Referential questions are usually based on real needs and interests. For that reason, natural interactions through drama pedagogies were used in that study. Display questions versus referential questions. Brock, in the 1986, observed students' responses to teachers' questions in terms of syntactic complexity and mean length of utterance, and found that compared to display questions, referential questions generated more student output and elicited answers with a higher cognitive level for language teaching and learning. Beardmore, in 1996, suggested that excessive use of display questions would lead to deficient students' output and would deprive them of the opportunity for autonomous thinking. Most questions asked by the teacher in the class are those requiring students to repeat information instead of thinking the information through to construct an answer. However, contradictory opinions about referential questions were also proposed. For example, based on a student survey by Nystrand et al. In 1997, found that the students showed less involvement when the teachers asked authentic questions, but were more willing to answer pseudo questions. Wu, in 1993, also found that the referential questions did not elicit more complex utterances and did not increase students-teacher interaction. The authors think that these contradictions may result from comparing classrooms with different objectives, teaching styles, techniques, and levels of student attainment. Analyzing the study. So the first week was devoted to the use of applied dramatic techniques, the second week involved process drama, and the third week was dedicated to readers' theater. Each session was audio and video recorded, and selective drama activities were transcribed for the analysis of question functions. Four complete drama activities, two with the teacher in role and two with the teacher out of role, were selected from the second week of the course, when process drama was the emphasis. Each drama activity took around 25 to 35 minutes. The results of the study. Question functions designated by the teachers versus the students. As you can see in the chart, it is clear that the teacher made use of all 8 functions, while the students used only 2 of them. Confirm at 65% and inform at 35%. The confirm questions were mostly raised by the students when they were invited to interpret the tableaus formed by other class members and when they were invited to guess the content of a mysterious box. As to their inform questions, two main purposes were identified: to ask the meaning of new words in the teacher's or other students' speeches, and to ask scene-related questions. The teacher's question functions show a different pattern. The teachers designated about half of their total questions to seek new information, and that's inform at 49.4%, but they applied the other 7 functions more evenly than the students did. Question functions designated by the teachers in role versus out of role. The status of the teacher, either in role or out of role, may determine how they used and distribute the question functions in the activities. The author stated that the slightly different distribution of question functions found from the teachers in role and out of role suggests that the make-believe moments in dramatic situations enable teachers to bring different social contexts, relationships, and registers into an otherwise rather fixed classroom discourse setting. Teachers can can plan the conversational aspects to be practiced in a particular drama scene in order to achieve their linguistic or sociolinguistic goals in one lesson. Whether the teachers were taking a role as part of the drama scene or not, informed questions were the most frequent type used by the teachers, 39.7 in role versus 56.6 out of role. The student's proficiency was measured by pre and post tests equivalent to the intermediate level General English Proficiency Tests, GEPT. The official GEPT test contains 4 parts: listening, reading, speaking, and writing. The quantitative evaluation of the oral tests showed that the students had produced significantly more words and communication units, and that the mean length of communication unit was also significantly longer in the post-test. The quantitative evaluation of the written tests showed that the number of simple sentences increased significantly while the total number of words and sentences decreased in the post-test. However, the quality of their writing improved on the post-test. In other words, the student had learned to express their ideas more efficiently and precisely. The GEPT test results showed no significant difference between the pre and post listening and reading tests. This, the authors ascribed to the fact that the reading tests emphasized knowledge of vocabulary, grammar, and paragraph reading, which was not addressed directly during the course. The students' performance on the listening tests showed a different phenomenon. The choice of test level for the listening part may not be appropriate for this group of students. Their low listening scores in the pre-test showed that the chosen intermediate level test may not properly measure this group of students. Therefore, the authors asked for more adequate evaluation tools to be developed for measuring students' communication abilities and overall language progress than the standardized tests used in this study. The authors also suggest that 3 weeks seems to be a short time for language learning. Pedagogical implications and research suggestions. From the analysis of the question functions in a drama-oriented EFL classroom, the authors found that it is feasible for EFL teachers to carry out natural interaction even with low-level L2 learners. The content area and the linguistic elements could be handled implicitly and explicitly through drama activities. Moreover, the status of the teacher, either in role or out of role, may determine how they use and distribute the question functions in the activities. Different question functions carry different pedagogical purposes, such as modeling correct expression, generating new information from the learners in order to move the scene forward, checking student understanding levels, and requesting certain actions, etc. The findings also show that EFL drama activities facilitate more interactive questioning than traditional approaches in which pseudo-questions and those which check understanding appear most frequently. Another implication that the authors found is that there are surely more than these 2 types of questions, and there seems no simple and logical solution to classifying questions. Some researchers use syntactic structures, such as yes-no questions versus WH questions, while some adopt semantic features, such as closed versus open questions, in their classifications. When considering the complexity of speech intention in natural conversation, a more complete, exhaustive, and systematic taxonomy of questioning is needed for research purposes. Recommendations. The authors strongly recommend recording your class for two reasons. On one hand, teachers can look back at their teaching styles, discourse behaviors, and the students' reaction in each lesson in order to know how and to what extent the drama or other questioning methods are working in the L2 classroom. On the other hand, some recorded materials can be played back to the students for reflection or for follow-up work. I personally recommend planning activities that require you and your students to use questions that would generate various elicitations or answers. And this is something I grapple with in my planning, especially for low proficiency levels. I want to use more authentic or referential questions and less display questions based on the reasoning and implications of this studies and other studies. Therefore, I'm trying to implement more information gap activities and I'm planning to use more drama based activities in my classes. Thank you for watching the presentation. I recommend that you read the whole article if you're interested. Thank you again.